Congrats to UCLA. I thought they played with just terrific poise throughout the game, especially the way they came out and fought early. Don't really know all the details that went into their travel delay, but I think it just says a lot about their guys and their character level to come in and play with the type of energy and fight that they had, even in less than ideal circumstances. Shaka is, in particular, just last year he was one of my favorite players in the country. Just watching him from afar, and I knew it was going to be challenging to defend him because he really just takes what you give him, and he's so strong and tough in there. And he was a big difference maker. I also thought, we only turned the ball over 11 times, but when we did, they really, really made us pay. And then the second chance opportunities for them. If you take those away and their points off turnovers, I mean, it's actually a really, really good defensive game by us, which it was going to have to be a phenomenal defensive game the way we shot the ball. So a lot of things we can take from this game, and certainly with them being a Final Four team, with most of their guys back from last year, hopefully we can learn a lot from playing against them and from some of the things that they did.
Shaka, when your team starts 1 for 16 on threes, are you going crazy on the sideline saying look for different shots, or are you telling guys just to keep shooting them and they'll fall eventually, or what do you do?
Some of both. I mean, at some point, when you're not making shots from outside, you got to attack and get in the paint. But at the same time, you have to take what the other team's giving you. And I actually thought, some of those were really good looks that we missed. There was a few other ones that were forced. I thought we tried to do a little bit too much early in the clock where we could have attacked and forced them to guard us throughout the clock. But they're a really good defensive team. They did a great job getting their hands on some of our passes early on, which I think disrupted our flow. And then when we got a little bit more aggressive in the second half and at the end of the first half, it was a big difference from the standpoint of just our offensive execution.
You mentioned giving up offensive rebounds. It's happened a few times this season. Are guys just out of position on the defensive end?
Well, I think tonight it wasn't as much being out of position. There was a couple where we weren't where we needed to be, but I think we were there. And I think we even got our hands on a lot of them, but we did not corral them. We didn't bring them in. And we've got to do a better job of hitting the other player on a block out and keeping him from getting it and then going and grabbing the ball. And that's been an area throughout the season so far that we need to get better at. And I knew coming in here that UCLA, was strong in that area. And it's a big point of emphasis. We just didn't do well enough with it.
Coach, when Greg was in here earlier, he was saying his confidence really led to his spark off the bench. 22 points, career high for him, 22 out of 28 from your bench points. Was it the confidence that you saw from him today that allowed to have the team on his shoulder a little bit?
Well, the interesting thing about confidence is you want to have a lot, but you don't want to have too much. And so it's about being in that sweet spot. I think that it's interesting. Humility is often confused for the opposite of confidence, but I think it goes hand in hand, actually. And a lot of the best performers in anything have a great blend of both. And so with these guys that we're coaching at a young age, even Greg, who's been doing it for a while at this level, it's about, can you have a humility level to understand there's really only one way to be successful, and I'm going to go out and honor that process. I'm going to do it for the guys around me. And then all of a sudden you start thinking that way and acting that way, and you get more confident. And it's something that can come and go. I think some of our young guys learned that tonight. But, yeah, it was nice to see Greg out there, playing with a lot of confidence and attacking. And, hopefully he can do that moving forward because we need that spark.
Tyler Krok continues to struggle finding his shot. How do you help a player like him going forward, especially with Big East play starting up? And then Has the thought of maybe temporarily taking him out of that starting role crossed your mind at all? Or
No, absolutely not. I mean, he's one of our best offensive players, even when he doesn't make shots. He was a big part of helping us win our last game at Kansas State, just the way that he distributed and came off of pick and rolls. Tonight wasn't his night at all from the standpoint of, just how he played, even though he had 7 assists, but too many turnovers. And then, as you mentioned, he's struggling. It seems like he's rushing those shots. He takes a lot of pride in his shooting because he works on shooting more than anyone or as much as anyone that I've ever coached. So yeah, I mean, that's an area that we gotta figure out how to help him be confident shooting the ball, slow down a little bit. It just seems a little rushed. Part of it is when you're playing against really, really good, aggressive, athletic defenders, you don't have a lot of time to get it off. But he's a lot better shooter than what he's shown these last several games. He knows that. Nobody wants to make him to make shots more than him. He'll probably be in the gym tonight. He's a worker. So absolutely not in terms of thinking about taking out of the lineup because he's one of our most valuable players.
Hey, Coach, with Greg, he's coming back in percentage-wise as one of the team's best three-point shooters from last season. He went 6 for 9 from 3 tonight. Is this what you expected from Greg before the season, returning as one of the older guys on the roster?
Well, this is what we were hoping for. He could really, really shoot. I mean, he shot 46% from 3 last year. So every time he shoots, I think it's going in. I mean, we've got a few guys on our team that are very, very good shooters, but Greg is the one that has demonstrated it already at this level. And, you saw it again tonight. So we need that, more consistently. And, he didn't play as much in some of the games earlier. I gave us a huge spark at Kansas State, was a big part of us winning. Obviously, the way he played tonight and how locked in he was, he's carving out more and more of an opportunity for himself.
And with the Big East play coming up, you're going to be facing some of the teams that people have said, oh, Marquette might not win this game, and obviously being projected to finish 9th in the Big East. What is your mentality? Do you have that chip on the shoulder mentality going up against these Big East schools?
My mentality or the team's?
The team's mentality overall.
Because I always have a chip on my shoulder. I think us being picked 9th is something that is a motivator. And it's something that, I think going into the season, the guys saw as a challenge. That being said, I think the people that picked us 9th, it was based on, who's returning from last year and the fact that we have a lot of different guys from, that they either transferred or we're high school guys. We have a young team. So it's not like I don't think anyone was trying to disrespect us with that. But the great thing is everybody starts league play 0-0. You play everyone in the league twice, once at home, once on the road. And our mentality better be to be, as we say, confident underdogs because people are going to pick against us. You really can't focus too much on what other people pick. I don't know how many games this year we've been favored or not been favored, but I know we've won 8 and lost 3 because in 8 of the games we've played better than the other team, and 3 of the games we didn't. So that's not going to change. And the Big East is filled with terrific teams, terrific players, terrific coaches. So it'll be a heck of a challenge, but we're excited about it.
I think Cam was the only freshman to play in the second half. You went with the more experienced guys. Was it just playing against a number 4 team, just a little too big for the younger guys?
I thought those guys, thought they tried, but it's interesting when you get sometimes into games like this, Ben. If a guy's not like in his absolute best place for whatever reason, and he's got very, very little experience like freshmen do, then it's going to be tough, playing against guys like Tiger Campbell and Johnny Juzang and Jules Bernard and Jaime Hackett. I mean, these guys are seasoned, experienced players who went to a Final Four last year. So, I love our young guys. I think their futures are bright. A lot of times what happens is in this world we live in, if a guy doesn't play very much, people think that that equates to the coach not believing that he's a good player. And the reality is sometimes two things can be true at the same time. Number one, I absolutely believe in all of our young guys, think they're going to be terrific players, think they can help us, win even in our very next game. But at the same time, they've got to take ownership and responsibility for all the things that go into winning and for all the growth that needs to occur from a game like today or in a practice, like Mondays. All those things are true, and, I'm excited about helping those guys continue to grow. That's it. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.